Now we go deeper into what's driving the local bourse upward with BDO Chief Investment Officer Fritz Ocampo. Fritz, great to have you with us. I took a look at the Asian stock markets. You have Japan, the Nikkei, Hong Kong's Hang Seng, Australia, Singapore's STI index, all in negative territory. But the Philippine stock market was up by 1.76%. Why was the Philippines a contrarian today?
Well, as mentioned by your report, we've had 2 consecutive days of foreign buying after the market corrected on news on move to ECQ by Friday. So foreign investors are beginning to pick up Philippine stocks.
So at 6,500, is there still more upside for the Philippine Stock Exchange Index before ECQ?
Well, I suspect that investors would pick up on weakness every time there would be negative news during the next 2 weeks. But this would be good levels to pick up. As you saw last week, upon news of ECQ, the market corrected and we were down 10% once again at one point. Yes, definitely there's still upside till year end and over the next 12 months.
All right, Fritz, let's now take a look at your stock recommendations. You have 3 of them. But before we proceed to your recommendations, we can see right now live pictures from the New York Stock Exchange. That market will be opening in a few minutes' time. And of course, it will basically direct, right? It will also influence how Philippine stocks will move tomorrow. Let's start off with Monde Nissin. It closed today. Let's pull up the graph. It closed today at 15 pesos per share. There you go. And it's 52-week high, 17.16. 52-week low, 12 pesos and 68 centavos. What is the upside for Monde Nissin?
Well, if we roll over target price to 2022, we're looking at a target price of 19. That's a 28% upside moving forward.
And what is basically the downside of Monde Nissin? I mean, it is a manufacturer of biscuits and noodles.
Yes, definitely the downside would be, number one, if there's no more growth. Being the number one in its major brands like Skyflakes and Lucky Me, if there's no growth, then investors would be disappointed. But remember, Rico, we're headed for an election year, and the campaign will start at the national level as candidates file in October.
It is a consumer play. Let's now take you live to Wall Street. Fritz, on your screens right now, members of Hippo Holdings ringing the opening bell on the New York Stock Exchange. There you go. The opening numbers we will have from the Dow Jones Industrial Average very soon. And this marks the beginning of a new trading day in the United States. American stocks reversing course on Monday amid worries over the Delta variant's impact on supply chains, infrastructure spending, and corporate earnings. There we have the opening bell on the New York Stock Exchange. Now, Fritz, let us get your recommendation for Monde Nissin. Is it a buy, sell, or a hold? Let's wait for the graphic. We have the graphic.
It's a buy.
It's a buy. Why is it a buy?
Number one, we're headed for election spending and definitely expect sales to accelerate moving forward. Second is its subsidiary Corn is expected to capture major growth in the rapidly expanding meat alternative space moving forward.
All right, so Monde Nissin is a buy for Fritz Ocampo. Let's move on to the second stock, which is ICTSI, which is a port operator of Tycoon Enrique Razon. It closed today at 167 pesos and 10 centavos, 52-week high, 172, 52-week low, 94 pesos. It's getting ever so close to its 52-week high, Fritz.
Exactly, Rico. ICTSI is this year's best performing stock because it has delivered on improved profitability as well as margins. its operations in ports, not only in the Philippines, but in other markets as well, benefited from the sequential improvement or in the reopening of economies coming from the pandemic last year.
So what is your recommendation on ICTSI?
With gains over 40% year to date, while we still like the stock for 2022, at these levels, it is a hold.
All right, a hold for ICTSI. And your final stock is Ayala REIT, which is the real estate investment trust of the Ayala Group of companies. Can we take a look at the closing price today? It's very close as well to its 52-week high. It's at 36 pesos and 40 centavos, Fritz.
Yes, A-REIT or Ayala Land REIT has had a very successful listing from its IPO price. And after gaining over 23% year to date, we believe that there's limited upside in the near term. It has already exceeded our target price of 36, and we're calling for a sell at these levels.
So at 36.40, it has already peaked. What would be a good level to buy the Ayala Land REIT once again?
Well, we believe that any correction here, we believe will be quite shallow because there are a lot of investors that want to pick it up. But we're calling a sell because at this level, the dividend yield would be around 5% for Ayala REIT. Meanwhile, there are three other alternatives that will be listing in IPO in the second half of this year. And therefore, we advise investors to look at the three alternatives moving forward.
And the one that will be closest to listing will be next week. That is the Philinvest REIT. Fritz Ocampo from BDO, the Chief Investment Officer. Thank you so much for your buy, sell, hold recommendations.